How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Snapshot Photo Vlog, episode 3. We're going to talk about a couple quick things today, update you on my photography life. So first, update on my Olympus Xa2 that I talked about in my last vlog. I finished the roll, developed it, scanned it, and good news, it works. Camera works really well with one slight exception. Pretty much the entire roll came out slightly underexposed. I'm not 100% sure if that's just an issue with the meter starting to age or if that's how the camera is metering for high contrast scenes. It's metering for the highlights instead of the shadows. But either way, it's a pretty quick, simple solution. I just set the camera's ISO, which you can set on this camera manually, slightly lower than the box speed of your film. So right now I put in a roll of Lamography 800 in the camera, and I went out shooting yesterday and I set the camera's ISO to 200. So my thinking was that worst case scenario, this roll is overexposed by 2 stops, which totally fine. Color negative film, it'll handle it just fine. Even if it's 2 stops, I have no fear. But I took this camera out yesterday to shoot that second roll, or start shooting that second roll. I only have a few frames left, and I gotta say, really enjoying it. It's a great street camera. I went to a boardwalk at the beach yesterday, and I walked up and down and was doing some street shooting, and it felt really good to use. It felt very discreet. It didn't feel like I was getting in people's faces or anything, or bringing attention to myself with a loud shutter. So yeah, really excited that this camera is working, and I can't wait to use it more. Next up, we have a film to talk about. I'm sure you guys have probably seen this if you're watching film photography YouTube. Ribsy, guy who's on YouTube, started his own film brand called New Classic Film, and he is putting out his own film stock. I mean, it's not a new film stock. He said it himself, it's just a rebranded stock. But the idea is that they repackaged it with a more sustainable cardboard packaging, and I gotta say, I really like it. I think the branding and the cardboard packaging is quite nice. I think it's a really nice gesture, and even though it might be a small step, it's still a step forward in terms of sustainability when it comes to film. Film is one of those things that is not the best for the environment, and I think any step that anyone can be making is a good step. Now, I understand some people can be a little bit apprehensive. If you take a look at the development information on this film on the New Classic website, it's pretty clear what this film stock is. Ribsy said it himself that they were partnering with someone from Europe. If you looked at the development information, you could guess that it's probably just Fomapan 400, which totally fine. I like that film. I think it's a solid, cheap film. I've used it before, and I'm gonna use it again. I can understand how some people might be a little apprehensive to pay a slight premium for a very cheap film only for a better packaging. But I will say this. I think this is a really important thing for the film photography community. I think it's a really good thing for the film photography industry as well. When small creators and small entrepreneurs attempt to break into this market, one, they're showing other people that it can be done with success. If he has success, he's showing other people that it can be done. And with that success will come influence on the larger companies. So yeah, this might be repackaged Foma 400, and that's okay. But if it's successful in the future, his company might be able to go to Fomapan and say, hey, we have some success. Can we do something different? Can we talk about maybe pre-flashing the film so that you get a different quality than something that Fomapan would make themselves. Things like that. It's these little baby steps towards a bigger, brighter film photography future. For big and small companies alike, and for you and me, I think by showing some support to this endeavor is showing that, hey, you know, us as the film photography community, we value these things. We value, the environmental impact, which is something that clearly they're trying to show here, and that we value new products coming to the market, no matter who they're from. And I've talked about this before when I did my initial impressions of Lamography Metropolis video. No matter what, I have to give props and give support to the companies that are going to do whatever it takes to keep film alive. Whether that is taking old film or film stock that's been around forever and repackaging it in a more sustainable way, or, you know, building their brand to partner up with bigger companies, primarily Fuji and Kodak and Ilford and Fomapan, and showing that this success can have some influence on those companies and bringing some more longevity to the table. And I think just that's a net positive all around. And that's why I spent a couple bucks. I got 3 rolls. And yeah, I'm excited to shoot it. I'm excited to, you know, show you guys the results. I'm sure it's gonna look great. And yeah, excited to see what they do next. You never know. Could be something really, really great. And lastly, I wanna talk about some digital photography stuff. Recently, I sold all of my Sony gear and I switched to Fujifilm, which is what I'm currently recording on now. This is the first video that I'm filming with my new camera, which I'm really excited about. It's got 4K recording, which my old camera didn't have, so, you know, ooh, high resolution, love it. So yeah, I sold my Sony A7 II, which was a camera I had for a good while. It was a camera that served me really well and had great image quality with really great lenses. And I bought a Fuji Xe4. I also bought a whole host of lenses. I was able to because the Sony kit was worth quite a lot of money and I did not have a lot of Sony stuff. I had the body, the kit lens, and 2 lenses aside from that, and I was able to get a whole, you know, Fuji kit with that money. The short story is, and I'm planning on making a longer video about this, but the short story is that throughout the time of owning my Sony, it felt like I would have to find some excuse to want to shoot it. I would think of something that would make me want to use that camera, whether it was using manual lenses with an adapter or a different native autofocus lens or the strap that I was using, whatever. I came to realize that I just didn't like the camera. It just didn't spark the want to take it out and create and enjoy it. And to me, it just felt like a piece of tech that was made by an engineer and not a fun camera, not a camera that I wanted to use. And it seems like Fujifilm is the one brand that is offering that right now. I picked up the Xe4 for the first time, and it immediately struck me and reminded me of all of the film cameras that I love to use. And it just felt right. The way the dials are laid out, the simplicity. I felt when I was looking at the interface of the Sony with the menus and all the custom buttons that I was driving a spaceship. It was so overbearing and just didn't feel nice to use. And the Fuji just feels so much better. And so far, I have been just enamored with my choice. I have actually genuinely enjoyed picking up a digital camera for the first time in a really, really long time. I mean, since I started doing photography, period, I started on digital, and that was the last time that I really enjoyed picking up a camera that was digital and enjoyed using it. So, I mean, that's the short story. It really just came down to the fact that I just didn't enjoy using the Sony and the Sony system. There's a lot of other reasons, and I'm probably gonna make a big video on that. But yeah, that's the short version of it. And that's it. That's it for today. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.